How we doing? Bedtime in Ireland. Well, hello. Thanks for stopping in real quick. So I have to say, reality when building a printer and the digital expectation are very different things. Because I'm now seeing my mistake when I cut my extrusion. I'll show you guys that first before we actually get into this. Because I'm going to end up recutting the Z's because I did not measure properly when I was figuring out my 3D model. And it's kind of something to learn here when you're designing something. So when I originally designed this, you hear me now? Yeah, okay. So I originally designed this stupidly with 34 millimeter motors. I'm not using 34 millimeter motors. I am using, these are 42s. No, these are 38s. So, and the distance from the bottom to the top of that is straight 40. So if I come in here, let's hide that. Let's inspect from top of here to here is 34.47. So if I go to move this up, we'll call it 5.5. No, I want to line, but I want to inspect from here to here. That's close enough. So by doing that, my Z-screw sticks out the top. Because I did not think of that. So if I inspect from the top of this rail to the top of that, so I am 4 millimeters off on my cut. And I was like, what the heck. Derek with the donation. Thank you very much, Derek. I appreciate it. So I'm going to end up having to recut these with an extra 4 millimeters on them in order to be able to cover these, because when I look at it here, we are off by exactly 4 millimeters. Which is fine. It's fine. I have the extrusion and I can reuse this for something else because these are longer, so easy to cut back down. But man, what is up with that? But that's easy enough to fix later. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and assemble the Y motor, Y carriage, and get that on, because I had smooth rods come in today and I actually was out of these and I was debating on putting 12 millimeter on the Y. But since these came today for Hound, and I'm not building Hound for a while, and I already ordered new ones for Hound, I'm going to go ahead and use these. Well, I already ordered new ones for this. So I'm going to go ahead and use these here. And hopefully everything lines up properly. We'll find out real soon. Yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? So I already have my carriage here ready to go. I already have bearings pushed in, already have these mounted, yada yada. So, and I already went ahead and built the Hemera on the other night. Well, it was on Saturday night's build. Saturday night stream we did that. See if I can get my camera here going. There we go. So you see we got the Hemera on there mounted, ready to go. But now we need to move on the Y carriage. So pull all this up out of the way. Oh, made those looser than I did. Just had these tacked on there so they would hold because I tilted the printer over the other day and it was like, whoop, everything went flying. You probably loosen these up and adjust the double bearings to make sure that they are in line. We don't want to have any binding with these IGES bearings. Fitting oh so nicely. So now what I usually do is I will now measure and see where we end up being even at. So right now we're at 60 millimeters, 58-ish. This one's stuck back here. There we go. 57 millimeters. 67 millimeters. So 61, 63, 63-ish, 61. So we're going to go to 62. Now we're going to just tack this one here. And pull this all the way down, which pushes this into position. We can tack that one now. And we go flip it around. Bring this all the way back. Measure, make sure we're looking the same. But not. So pull this over to 62-ish. Right there. That like that. And then there we have a perfectly smooth moving carriage. Nice. So what we need to do now is find my standoffs. Oh, I don't know where I put those at for these builds. Nope. Oh, they're in here. I bought a whole bag of them. Set screw standoffs. Here we go. Hey Viking, how you doing? Yes, this printer is made only of 2020s. You will notice these very interesting corners here, which mount these all together. And then there is another bracket here, which holds this onto here, which makes it a very, very sturdy corner. If you thought you needed to do more, what you could do is we left a hole in the bottom of this foot. So you can go up and in. You could drill a hole through your extrusion using that as a pilot, and you could blind joint this top to here with ease. But I did not do that for this build. It feels pretty sturdy as it is. If I find that the frame is coming a little out of square, then I'll go ahead and add those blind joints in. But right now, it is, and that is so smooth. These rails, actually, these rails are so nice. They honestly feel so freaking smooth. I am so surprised. These are Amazon, the Sun Key or Sun Hook, something like that. Man, do they feel smooth. Really can't argue with how good those feel. So this build is meant to be how this is kind of based off of Megatron, but a little bit bigger. So instead of using Prusa-sized lead screws, which are 320 millimeters and super expensive, these are 400 millimeter lead screws and they are less expensive. So we're getting a little more build height. We're still doing the same Prusa bed, so we're getting the 210 by 250, but we are going to have a 80 millimeter taller Z, which should give us 320 millimeters on the Z height. I believe 320 is what it ends up being. Oh, before I do that, I need to mount the... Did I print it? Oh, I did. Let's get... Before we do the bed, we've got the belt tensioner and all of its bits and pieces are in here somewhere. Here's a piece. And where's our little piece at? I'm going to need this for X. And this guy here. So this is the same belt tensioner I'm using on Megatron. I like it. It's not the best. I kind of would prefer something in the front here similar to the Bear one, but this one works out well, and I get to use this very simple idler for it. Hey Adam, how you doing, man? Peanuts down here. So far, I'm pretty happy with how this build has come out. It's gone mostly to plan, I think. Mostly. Oh, Ben, yeah, just saying that. I actually, when I was building this the other day with my friends, I had realized that I actually forgot the belt tensioner, the Y idler. I forgot the, what else did I forget? Oh, the X idler piece and the Z caps that go in here on the lead screws. I had forgotten all of that, so I threw that on a print real quick. And for them, I forgot their belt holder. I was like, whoops. Didn't mean to forget all that stuff, but it happens. You know, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. So that's the nice thing about having a 3D printer is you just print the parts you missed. I mean, I printed all this myself anyways, but it's nice to have the option to just go in and fix your mistake real quick or do whatever it is that you forgot. I am going to, I think I'm going to drill this out a little bit. I think when I tried a longer one in here, it was just a little too tight. So we're going to drill this out. But that is also why I went through, I pulled all of Hound's parts up on the table and went through part by part. And I was like, okay, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. Because when I ship Hound, I'm not going to have a printer with me to print the parts. So I really need to make sure that I have everything already ready to go. Otherwise, I'm going to be screwed. That is too long. Might need to use something longer. Okay. Goes in there, so let's press fit some nuts into here. It'll be easier if the holes are the right size. Red, white, and a light gray, Aaron. I didn't have a good silver, so I went with this gray color here. This is the Paramount. This is actually the Nintendo gray from Paramount. They're like light Nintendo gray. And I'm using Paramount Autobot Blue, which is all the blue parts on here, and the red is Ziltech Red. Yeah, red, blue, and silver. Silver/gray. I know it is very similar to Ultra Magnus, and I even printed some of the parts the same way, which I kind of wish I didn't, but hey, too late for that. Because Ultra Magnus has red Z motor mounts and blue on the axis, and I was like, oh, whoops. I didn't think that through as much. The power supply for Ultra Magnus is all blue, where Optimus just has a blue bottom. You can see I've got the Autobot logo in there. And then I have a red PSU cap for it. So I want to be able to tension this from the front. We're going to go that way. What size screw do we need for this? $12 mil, 10 mil? I don't remember. 12's a bit long, so I think we'll go to 10. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Aaron. I mean, always a big thanks to Aaron. He designed most of the parts on this. They do look fantastic, Aaron. They really do. The way they look under there, they hold really well as well. I didn't do the blind joint through here as I was talking before. So right here, there's a hole. You can just punch through there to do your blind joint, but I didn't feel the need for it. Okay, so let's get our idler set up now. I think I'm missing that. Let me go grab one of those. Where are we at? Idlers and pulleys. Oh, there's belt here too. I need some belts. Use. I have a tooth. I do have a tooth. I have two tooths. One more tooth pulley. The others are smooth. Shucks. Didn't realize I was out of toothy pulleys. Or idlers, I should say. That'll be alright. I will put tooth on here. And then we need I believe these are for 20 millimeter. You can do an 18. Well, I'll use a 20. I got one. I'll use an 18. Decisions are hard. Yeah, that'll work. $18 doesn't grab. I thought it would. Got to be a 20. Interesting. Yeah, I know they both work. I just thought I had more. So, front of the printer is in front of me. So, temporarily just... That's the wrong one. I guess I can line it up right now. Mostly. So, right. Good night. Pretty close. Now I can get out my motor. I'm gonna put this beefier guy on here. Yeah, we'll do that. But for that, we need to flip this back up. Mount it back here. I can figure out where exactly this needs to go. Let's see here. Well, that's pretty spot on right there, actually. Smidge more that way. Yeah, right there is perfect. So, the interesting thing about this is it kind of like grips and then hooks on the back and then flips down. It does make attaching it a smidge more difficult, but it's definitely secure. There's definitely no questions about if it's secure enough or not. And for this, I think we'll use some M4s again. Well, I might use M5s on this one. We don't want this motor going anywhere. Too tall. $8 millimeter. I have 5 T-nuts now. Second one there. There we go. Now we can go ahead and I want to put the motor that way. I want to put the motor this way. We'll put the motor this way. We've got enough space. We can loop it here and run it over with no big deal there. So oh, that would be good, Aaron, for aligning it in the middle of the extrusion. That would be real good. And you are late. What's up, man? While I have this tipped over, I will put the pulley on it. Flat parts. Right about there. What I'm doing is I'm looking down along this to here, and it can always do fine adjustment later, but this will at least get me in the rough location for putting the belt on, which I can do now. So we've got some belt here. They look the same, but they are different colors. So in my book, that's okay. It's kind of came undone here in the bag. Ooh. here. I'm gonna go around that to here-ish. Come on. Sometimes it goes through here without issue, sometimes it doesn't. There we go. Oh yeah, we'll have to cut this shorter. And then this guy, use a longer bolt. Trying to avoid it because I don't have any more socket head M3s in this size. Some tights. Now we have the cover. Goes on here, and that's what holds that slider in place. And that needs to be maybe 20s. Yeah, 20s will just fit. I need to move this over a little bit. Actually gonna exchange these bolts for some pan heads because this like just misses the mount. And I mean, once these are in, these don't have to come back out. As much as I hate pan heads, but they do have their use case. Or I could always just remix this model and have the heads sink into it. But right now, ain't nobody got time for that. So it looks uniform. It's like the one size I don't have that many pan heads of. It's the 20 millimeters. It's 20 or is just 18? It's 20. Here we go. So why? All the way to the back. All the way to the front. So my only concern is that I have the Z too far forward. I might need to push it back a little bit. I don't have a lot of space over on the back side of the power supply here. There's not a lot of space there left. So once I get the build plate on, which I'm going to do right now, we can see if we do have enough where the nozzle is at the back of the plate, because I can do two things. I can try to shift this back a little bit, or I can cut this extrusion a little bit longer. But shifting this means I don't need to put different rods on here, because these rods just fit this size. I think it will, or it's going to be doggone close. But the front, we definitely have clearance here. Like we've got several millimeters, like 15 millimeters off the front there. The back is just a little close. So that's my only concern. Okay, let's get this bed on here. Find. What did I do with the bed? Is that the bed I'm using? This one? Yeah, I'm using this one. The other one went to Hound. So here is my MK52 bed. This is the FiSec one, which I like a lot better. So if you look at the traces underneath, you can see right here where you're doing a lot of your printing, it is very, very fine traces. And then as you get out more to the edge, the traces become much beefier. And you can see it does have the copper pads in there for the testing, but we don't have to worry about that because we're not using that stupid thing to do it. What do we need? 12 millimeter ones. Actually, I might use 10 on this middle one because there's no space underneath of it. Oops. Joyous. Loosen that up, and then we can do the rest now. Oh no, I just stripped that. Oh no! Alright, I'll take that out. I didn't think I put it in that tight. I forgot that was a 10 millimeter. It's a little closer than I thought it would be. Found a hole in that one. Where'd that go? Well, that could be why. That totally missed. That's kind of hilarious. That totally missed. I thought I had it in the spacer and I did not. Okay, that's better. If I build a Core XY, what would I name it after? Well, I did build a Core XY. His name is Bumblebee, because it is all black and yellow. If you're curious about that build, check out my videos on the BLV MGN Cube. That is Bumblebee. Just remind myself, I forgot that. I forgot the cover. I'll print that tonight to make sure I get that done. Definitely was a lot more difficult when I am trying to print multiple printers and multiple designs. Definitely was a lot harder to keep track of than I thought it was going to be. Because I printed 3 different printers at the same time while printing things for other stuff as well, but I definitely found myself getting a little lost in all the parts. That's why I'm so worried I'm going to miss a part for Hound and not be able to print it. Just a little tweak. It's this one right here on the side. No. This we're going to use the iFixit kit to pull out because I screwed that up. So to do that, we're just going to use a star bit, and that star bit will sink into it and pull that out like that. So another good reason to have a iFixit kit. Boom goes the dynamite. There is the bed. So if I throw a little fancy Alti-Stick sheet on there, this is brand new, haven't used it yet. Yeah, definitely a little off. So let me lower this gantry down. We are a little ways off there. How far off are we? I'm gonna have to cut that longer. So from the actual back, that is, I wouldn't say 13 millimeters I'm losing on the back there. That is a lot. That is a lot. And I am not going to be able to gain it here, I don't think. Well, I guess I could gain it. If I nick this off and I put a hole in the bottom of this, I could make that work. But I would lose the foot on here. I'm kind of okay with that. So I am not reprinting this. So we're going to hack that off right now. I happen to have my conduit saw here. So we'll see. Not too shabby. You won't see it though. That's okay. Quick little mod there to that. I can bring that all the way back. Or I can bring that the rest of the way back. Yeah, this is a, sorry, not conduit saw. This is a Panduit saw. I've had this for a very long time. I don't even know where I got it from, but I use it all the time for cutting Panduit and other plastic. I use it actually to cut the PETG tubing that I use for water cooling. I use this to cut that as well, but it definitely works out well. It's a pull back saw, so you get your cut as you pull back and then it goes forward. But it also does, because it's double-sided, you get a little bit of cutting force forward, but most of it is backwards on the pull. That's a big boy. There's the big ones. Man, that's so much heavier with the bed on there now. My goodness. All right, I am. Get this with all this on here. Measure what we're at now. Here we are at 122. Here we are at 122 now. Trying to move it all. See there. Okay. Yo. That's locked in better. It's in there. Now we get to the back there. So now we come right to orange line here on the Alti stick, which is exactly where we want to be. It's like literally right on it. That's awesome. That is good stuff right there. Those cables everywhere. Drop something? I don't know what it is. Awesome. Now that we have that done, I think I can go ahead and do the belt on X. I think we'll do that now. So I need to make a pin for that guy. Although, I might still have a pin. No idea what I did with it. Let me look. I'll just make one. Screw it. I dropped it. Too much left on it. It actually is, Aaron. It is on my list. I was talking to the wife last night. Tools for 3D printing. That is on my list to do. I really want to get that done because Aaron was kind enough to actually help sponsor that video with these vice grips and all of these Tecton drivers I use almost daily. So I wanted to get a good video put together and have a lot of use with these tools. But I do get questions on what tool do I use for this, what tool do I use for that, and I think that it would be helpful to people that if you're thinking about building your own machine or just generally like what tools to have in your shop when you're working on 3D printers. Some of mine are overkill, but most of them are pretty accurate to have. These need what, 35s? Don't they need to be that? Let me look this up real quick. Whoops. What's it say? Where does it say? M3 by 18s. Seriously low on 18 mil bolts. Okay, those are in there now. Actually, I'm not going to do the belt now because, again, if I want to recut these, I think I'd rather wait to do that. Oh, really, Aaron? I didn't know that. But thank you. Sixes, I have all big ones. Yeah. I think I want to recut these to gain because I am losing a few mil here on my Z height. So I think I might do that. I guess I might as well take that off right now then. And I'll recut those tomorrow. I have off tomorrow, which is nice. So I'll be able to cut new extrusion. Drink for this. Man. Ah. This side over here, this side is tight. I don't get why it's so much tighter than this side. Really not understanding that. I don't know if there's something wrong with the bearings, but figure that out after this. Speaking of bearings, oh goodness. Ugh. Go. Almost there. It's kind of my fault for pushing all the way down to the bottom. Probably shouldn't have did that. I'll end up reprinting these. Or I didn't drill it out. Or maybe I'll leave them. I don't know. Go there, and go there. Go there. Yeah, so I really don't know if it's the bearings in this guy or not. Come on. One of these is bad. Because holy cow, it's that. Yeah. Those bearings are no good. I don't know what happened though. I packed them. But these ones are no good. Holy cripe. We're just gonna remove them and see which one of them is the problem. It's fine on its own. Oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah. Ugh. Definitely that one. Let's take this off and get that pulled out. There's a part of this that just doesn't feel right at all. So what do we got up here? I mean, more up here. 8s, yep. It's a lot better. Twist it. See if it feels. With both of those in there. Make sure that feels all right now. Sometimes the bearing feels okay at first, and then it doesn't. That's better. Yeah, that's definitely better. Once those break in, it'll definitely be more better. Oh yeah, Aaron, sorry, you said palm nuts. Yeah, no, it wasn't those. Those are definitely okay. It was that bearing. So ooh. Ugh. Jeez. Um, so yeah, we're almost ready for this to finish up. I'm excited for it. Definitely think it's going to be super fun. Oh, Ryan, it's not that easy to get demonetized. Yeah, these bolts a little bit here. So what else is new, guys? Who's building what? So Kennedy has most of his Volron 2.4 parts done and ready to go. That's exciting. Makes me excited to maybe try and build one eventually. Oh. Run your grapple, Ryan, with your render of a image, eh? For this. It's not a necessarily large. Is that the one that you designed, Aaron? Ooh, what is that? Good work. Oh yeah, you're still waiting for your parts to come back. Or for your money back, I should say. It turned off. Hmm. You hear me now? Yeah. It wasn't RTX voice. It was my thing turned off. I'm at half battery still. RTX voice definitely has its pros and cons. So that Core XY, there's no tensioning system for the belts. That sounds like a pretty big uh, undersight. Yeah, I'm at half battery. I don't even know why that turned off. For now, we'll get the motors undone. Like I said, these motors were actually really cheap. These are stepper online ones, I think. Or no, these are big Q ones. Stepper online, I think, is what the Y motor is. They were just a really good price, surprisingly enough. I'm going to use that other motor there. I forgot I took this apart. Those ones are actually loose for some reason. I guess I forgot to tighten those down. Whoops. Oh, come on, there we go. This one, loosen up these ones. Easy day. Yeah, so I cut these as 418 originally. I think they should have been 420, 422. Yeah, these are 418, 419, I guess. So I need to cut them. No, that's 418. Yeah, I need to cut these as 422. I might go 423 just to be safe. So, yeah. Bit of assembly, a bit of a disassembly tonight. You know, that's kind of the trials and tribulations of building your own printers is, again, what you designed for might not be exactly right. Dan's here. What's up, man? Oh. So now, I'm going to clean up a little bit. I might try to rewrap this belt. So yeah, I think I'll do a little Q&A for a little bit. If anybody has any questions on the build or anything like that, I can answer. But I think that's pretty much it for tonight. I just need to cut the new extrusion and get that back on there. And what I'll probably do is get everything ready to go, and then I guess I can ask now. So on Friday, I can ask what would you guys like to see? Would you like to see a continuation to this build, so it's pretty much going to be like wiring, or would you like to see a clipper screen video that hopefully will work because I now have I have the other screen came in, the one for Megatron just came in. And the mount does not fit, so I am going to reprint a new mount for it. It's off by I think it's off by the same amount as the other one, so it's about 1 millimeter. Adam, I need to cut the Z height taller, the Z extrusion. I cut it a little bit too short, and the fact that the rods were sticking out the top were triggering me a little bit. So I decided to just take it apart, and I'll recut this Z extrusion a little bit longer, and then we'll be set. But I can keep these because these are actually more than long enough for another frame, so these ones are worthwhile keeping. Is when I cut them to like real short, that's whenever they kind of become useless. I don't know. I did finally get, so Clipper Screen is working on Ultra Magnus now, and it has a custom boot screen, which actually was pretty easy and not too bad. So I have now this is a different screen as well. It interacts differently because it's interacting with a Pi 3, and before I was working with a Pi 0. But my mount here is 1 millimeter too small. So what I did on the other mount is I just took 0.5 mil from the bottom, 0.5 mil from the top, and it fit in perfectly that way. But actually, this one was interesting. It even came with a little 3D printed case. It's ABS, and honestly, not a bad print at all. To be fair to them, it's pretty good. Did warp a little bit, but for like mass producing these, it's not bad. It comes with a little fan, standoffs and everything you would need. So if you wanted to put a fan on your Pi, you can use this little case for it. But we have the screen here, and this is the WaveShare 4.3 inch capacitive touchscreen. So here it is here. There's the screen, and it is using this connector right here this time, the DPI connector, instead of using what the other one is using is HDMI. And all the power and everything go through that single ribbon cable, which is cool. You don't have to have power and video. It's all just there. What do I do with that screen mode? So yeah, again, it's just a little bit not matchy-matchy there. Which isn't bad. You know, I can fix that. But that was the whole point of printing this in a PLA, so that I could measure that out and check it out. But yeah, so we'll move that 0.5 mil up and down. Left and right is perfect. No issues there. But it's just that top and bottom a little bit. And then, yeah, this will mount on. I've already checked. It does clear the bed and everything, so that works out really well. I can put links down below, so when I'm done with the stream, I will grab some links and I'll put them down. Actually, if you go to, I'll put them down anyways, but if you look at the last live screen that was called Clipper Screen, you can see all the links down there. But yeah, so this, and again, this STL I have not released yet. I'll be releasing 2 versions of it. One for the HDMI version of the WaveShare. Actually, you can see the screen right here on Ultra Magnus. So that is for the WaveShare HDMI screen, and I'll release that mount because that's a little bit different than this one. I guess technically you could use the same ones, honestly. But either way, I'll release this one as well. And I've made two different mounts for these. These are both actually using the same mounting system. They can mount on the closest extrusion to the bed, and the bed easily goes over this. So no issues with that whatsoever. And the Y profile that Aaron made for these, the Y mounts, are really, 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 really low. And if it can clear with those, it'll clear with any Y mount you have on any printer. I'm almost, unless you have the Y rods mounted to the extrusion, like directly on it, the bed will definitely clear this screen. But yeah, it's off by just a little bit. But we'll get that sorted out. I do want to see what I do want to see if they had schematics, because I know on the other one my screws were off by just a smidge. Um, so this is the capacitive touchscreen. This is the HDMI one, isn't it? Yeah, it's the HDMI version one. And it's not this one. Box. Where's their wiki at? Wiki, there we go. Is it here? No, that's an old one. It's the LCD B. Oh, here we go. So we're looking for a 4.3 inch DSI LCD. That's what we want. Yeah, this is it right here. So I do want to look here and drawing. Because I want to take some measurements in my mount and make sure that they are. Oh, they've got a step file of it? What? What? Hang on. Fusion here. Let us upload something. Hold up just a jiggity second here. Did not realize they had a step file. Makes life so much better. O's. Awesome sauce. Look at that. That's what I need right there. So if we actually, we need to move this. It's in the wrong section. Move this to just there. So move there. And then we're going to go to Optimus. Where's his LCD mount at? So this is the mount I made for this one. Now I'm just going to copy this into Optimus's folder. Where'd it go? And now we're going to, I don't know if that worked. It did work, okay. Now what we can do is we can just start aligning this. We can move this component. We'll actually go way down for that. And then we'll realign the center of that hole with center of that hole. And we can see here our clearance is basically nil. If we look from here, you can see that the hole is not quite right where that is, and that's where I'm having some issues on when I did the other one. That one's dead center. That one is off by a little bit, so I need to recenter that. This one's off by a fair bit. That one's off by a fair bit. So that's why those screws weren't going in the other day. So I'm just going to extrude this -0.5. Extrude this -0.5. That's what I did on the other one. And then we have the clearance. We've got a little bit of wiggle room in there now to make that happen. Honestly, it looks like the top is fine. We just need to move that bottom down a little bit. That's not too bad. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to do this live, but I just need to go ahead and realign these holes, and then I can print this out. And we should be good to go from there. But it's awesome they had a step file. I didn't realize that they did. And I'll actually go to the model on for Ultra Magnus, and I'll make the same changes that I do here, because that one was off, and I ended up just drilling that out just a little bit more to get those holes to line up. But with this, I can make it match perfectly. And actually what I did on, oh, do I still have it here? Oh, I did it on Megatron. I don't know if I have it. So if I insert canvas, where did I put it at? I think I did it before I formatted my computer. Pictures, desktop, yeah. Yeah, so what I did is Megatron, put this one up, I'll show you here. One's Fusion. So I just inserted a canvas of they have screenshots in Clipper Screen. And I would love to take it to an editing software and do it, but I went ahead and added a canvas of the screen powered on. I thought that was funny. So there is my little screen there. I thought it was cool. That was funny, but it says Ender 3 Pro. I kind of wanted to edit that in a photo software and make it say Megatron or something like that, or just like Clipper Screen, make it a little more generic. But yeah, I thought it was fun. All right, well, I can put some of this stuff away now. And again, I'll be sure to post the links here once I get off live. I will grab the links for the various screens. So you also just have to remember that if you're running a Raspberry Pi 3, you can use a DSi connected display. If you're running or a Pi 4. If you're running a Pi 0, you have to use an HDMI display, because there is no DSi port on the Pi 0. There is only a Pi camera port on the Pi 0. Which is fine and all, it's just fact of the matter. It definitely does take a while to install as well. I might actually pre-game the install before I do that live, just in case I have a bad config again, because I just had a bum image for the fluid Pi image was not working, functioning properly. And then I realized through the splash screen, Fluid Pi does not come with the splash screen enabled, or whatever it's called. I don't really know what it's called. But either way, the code for making a splash screen on the Raspberry Pi is not there. So it's a simple command, just run it and it installs it. But that allows you to do custom splash screens on the Raspberry Pi, and it was way easier than doing it on what's it call it on the Duet. Lost my thought there. Yeah, doing it on the Duet was super duper hard, and I never got it to work properly. I think it's just because I'm using a clone screen and I'm not using an original one. That's all right, Mike. You can hang out for a few minutes. I'm just cleaning up, jibber jabbering. Again, if everybody's any questions on what I've been working on, feel free to ask while I finish up here. But definitely made progress. It doesn't look like I made progress because obviously the printer's in more parts than it was when I started the stream. But honestly, it is good progress because I have a path forward. I know what I need to cut and do. I'll be able to knock that out tomorrow morning, honestly. I'll just, I'll cut this before the little one takes a nap, and then I'll work on building the frame in the afternoon, and then I'll have that all back up, and then kind of go. I'll probably just do the belt off camera. That's not, it's not really a big concern. It's not really something good content either. Ryan, it was easy on your Duet because, again, I think mine was difficult because I have the clone Duet. So I think that was the issue with mine. It's gonna look real good. I'm excited for this one. This is gonna be fun. Have a little bit of a taller, they have the Prusa build volume here, but we're gonna have a taller height. We'll get the speed that Megatron has, but we're gonna get the silence that Ultra Magnus has using these IGES bushings bearings. So I'm really curious to kind of push those and see how fast they really can go. I normally don't print for like huge amounts of speed, but if I can get a part done a little bit faster, I can print at 80 or 100 millimeters per second rather than 60 or 80, then great. Did the PSU mount for Ultra Magnus ever end up getting redesigned for the stock fire starter? Power supplies are not fire starters, so I'll put that myth to bed right there. Poor wiring is fire starter. These power supplies are stupid, cheap, and easy. They have fail-safes built into them, even the cheapest ones that are out there. This one is $18. It does not get any cheaper than this. They all have protections in them. That is industry standard. The issue is people not wiring them properly at the terminals and not wiring them properly to their board. Either they're using tinned wires, or they're not using ferrules, or they have their wires all cockeyed in here, so the wires are actually touching the plastic. It should not touch the plastic at all. And you create resistance, you get heat, and then it melts. It looks like a power supply issue. It's not a power supply issue. But anyways, if you're asking about the cap, yes, I did redesign this. I have to ask Aaron if he did, though, because on that stock one, it needs to get a little bit shorter, and the cap needs to get redesigned. I know Aaron did not have time to do that yet. We were talking about it, but it's all because the cutout on the stock power supply on Ultra Magnus, on the ANET A8 Plus, the fan is on this side and not this side. So we have the cutout made for right here. Actually, I have it one right here. So the cutout is made, and this one is tight. Oh, there's a booger in there. Anyways, the cutout is made to go around this fan on this side instead of this one. So we just have to kind of redesign that. And why is that one tight? But there are so many. I talked about something I did on Twitter the other day. There's so many 3D printing myths and old wives' tales that are out there, and it's I really wish that someone would kind of put some of those myths to bed. And I don't know if I'm the person to do that, but I kind of wish one of the big channels, a big technical channel like CNC Kitchen or maybe even Tom, would put some of these old wives' tales to bed, because it kills me half the time. But either way, that's what it looks like when it's on there, just like that. So we can just move that to the other side. This goes in here, and this creates a nice 3-point, 2-point setup. So it's connecting to the bottom, then it's connecting to the Z top, so it makes it act like its own brace. So it's really working out well. Lucky Duck, I hope to see you do it. It was a fun build. We actually have someone else, Matt, I forget his name. He just joined the Discord today, and he's actually going to be buying an ANA Plus, and he's probably going to do Ultra Magnus as well. So it was definitely a fun build, fairly easy. You can go full ham. If you look at Aaron's cult page, you can go full ham and do the complete build like I did, or you can just do partial build, and there's 2 different ways you can do that. I forget the one, but the one is just upgrading the X-axis and extruder to the bare X-axis and extruder. And you can reuse the stock ANET A8 Plus ends because they're injection molded, and they're actually really good quality for an injection mold. And honestly, they're as solid or more solid than 3D printed ones. Well, whenever you get time, Aaron, let me know, because if you design it, I'll print it, and I'll see if I can get that to fit on, see if I can get that to fit on there. Pull out some M4s since we're chatting. I can add these in real quick. Might as well get this cap done while I'm hanging out here. I think I'm also kind of cursing Aaron with all of the videos on these builds. Kind of keeps him busy with the parts and the designing and whatnot. If he wants that attention or not. Well, let me know what you do, Aaron, and I can again, I can print out the new parts and test it out on there, or I will at least measure the bottom. The Z top I'll definitely reprint. I don't think I'll reprint the bottom, just because I don't want to run that print on the palette again. I am pretty low on the Ziltech blue, because this I used Autobot blue. But on Ultra Magnus, I used the Ziltech blue, and I actually don't even know if I have any left of it, to be honest. So I'm not seeing the spool anywhere here. So I might have tapped out. Oh, no, it's down there. I've got a little bit left. Not enough to do another power supply with a purge block from the palette. So I'll keep that the same, but I can at least measure the difference. We also did find the file. So we do have the actual step file for the power supply in Fusion now. So that should make it a little bit easier to design that new part. today. There we go. Yeah, so good progress, good fun. I like doing these builds. And I think actually to start off with, I'm gonna just make Megatron or Optimus is gonna be headless. I don't think I'm gonna put a screen on here right now. I might buy one. I see that both Brandon and Derek had given some money towards this Clipper Screen Fund. They are $50 a piece, so maybe I will put one on here. I already have the Raspberry Pi 3 already on here ready to go. So if I want to do a screen, it's just a fact of buying the cable, which is like $8, I think, or 10, and then the screen, ordering that in. Is this Care 1.4 worth it over the 1.3? My opinion, no. But everyone also says that the 1.3 has better MOSFETs than the 1.4 does. But actually, in talking to everybody, the FiSec S6 is quite an interesting looking board. Also because you can use 12 and 24 volt fans on that board at the same time. I'm actually really keen to try that out. And I think whatever the next custom build is that I build, I think I'm going to go ahead and use that board. I don't know what I'm going to build next. Or maybe actually, that's what we'll do. I will use that on the FT5 conversion this fall. I think that's what I'll do. I will pick up the FiSec S6 and we'll use that on the FT5 rebuild this fall. I think that'll be a good use for it. Because I might end up doing, I think we're just going to keep the dual Z, but it'll be nice to be able to drive dual Z and dual Y with that. So we'll see how that ends up going though. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna, you guys definitely got my interest greatly piqued once I saw that you could do dual voltage on it with the fans. It's just a jumper setting to do 24 or 12 volt. I'm like, oh, that is it right there, because the board has built-in DC to DC converter and you're just jumping it to those other pins. That's epic, because the Sun-On fans that are the super awesome ones only come in 12 volt. They don't come in 24 volt. And the more, I think they have more powerful ones on it, but the 4010 fans that I use that are at like the perfect level of airflow and sound are only 12 volts, which sucks. So you have to run a DC to DC converter. Well, if the board has that converter in it for you, why not use that board, honestly? If I would have known about that earlier, I probably would have used that. But Aaron, that's going to mean we need to design a case for that in some of these different builds, because I think having a case that works out well will do it. I have not looked to see if there's any online, but I would be interested to see if there are any other cases out there for it. Any good cases, I should say. Right. Oh, I don't need that. And, ooh, that guy, we're on. Already did. Look at you go. All right, guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it there. It was a good, productive night. So I'm going to work on this tomorrow since I have some time. And when I come back on Friday, I'll actually I'm going to put a survey up, if not tonight, tomorrow in the Discord. And let me know if you guys would rather see more of the Optimus Prime build on Friday night, or if you would rather see me do Clipper screen with a DSi screen on Megatron. Let me know what you guys want to see with that. I would like to know by I guess by Wednesday, because if I do end up doing Clipper Screen, I'm going to want to do the install earlier before the live stream, just in case something happens with that and it doesn't work out well. I want to know that before the stream starts. So if I do need to rebuild it, I can do that on like Thursday. I'm off again on Thursday, so I have the whole day to do that before a live stream on Friday. So I thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. It was a ton of fun, and I hope you're enjoying these custom builds. If you guys want to help me do these builds, you can check out the links down below. There's Patreon, any of the one-time donation links. And again, all the money that I get from those and the affiliate links that you guys have been using, I pour right back in the channel to build different machines. I'm going to be doing a lot more different builds in the fall. We've got some pretty cool custom builds also coming up as well. They will be a lot of fun. So I thank you guys for your continued support that way and through the super chats and the Streamlabs tips. So thank you guys so much for that. Hope you guys have a good night. I'll see you guys Friday night. Make sure also check out the Discord. Come hang out with us. I'll see you guys later. Bye.